Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, of course, today we're going to be taking a look at ADA. So what we're seeing from ADA is still this consolidational event in which we have been talking about for the last few days. Now, we did know that with all of the hype, all the excitement, and the massive move that we were seeing from ADA, that if we did see any type of underwhelming news or anything like that from smart contracts, it could lead to a bit of a pullback. It could lead to some of those hype investors getting out, and it seems like that is what we saw, right? We saw the big pull-off that was triggered by the sell the news event and the reaching of resistance for many major cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And so that combination, of course, did lead us to see a big crash throughout most of our cryptos, but it does seem like ADA was able to recover that very well, and we are now within this consolidational, seemingly symmetrical triangle looking to see a breakout in either direction. Now, not only that, though, if we do kind of clear this off a little bit, we can see that we came back down to retest our 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level off of this swing low back up to our swing high. And through that, it does seem as if we've tried to establish some support here. And so with that, of course, we do want to see that that is maintained. Now, lastly, we did see a little bit of a bearish move in the fact that we did actually see that our EMAs did have a few bearish, death crosses in which we saw the 20 EMA falling through the 50, 100, and momentarily, if we do zoom in all the way, let's get real close, you can see that the 20 EMA actually momentarily fell below our 200 EMA before continuing back and recapturing it. So of course we want to see that we are able to hold that. Okay, now one thing I will say is that of course in the title you can see that we're looking for this big move to happen, and the reason that I believe a big move is set to happen is due to the fact that we've actually seen this setup before. We've seen almost exactly what we're seeing here. Now let me explain. So what we saw in the past was going to be right over here. It was going to be this move that we're looking for here. Okay, so of course, let's talk about some of the comparisons. Well, of course, we can see that we had a big run up to setting a new all-time high that was followed by this massive dump, right? I mean, this is a pretty hard fall. We came down about 42% there, okay? If we do go over and we do kind of look at what we saw here, if we kind of just take this distance, you can see kind of similar, right? About 36% fall there. So within that same range of, struggle, right? That same range of crashing. Now, not only that, in terms of swing lows to swing highs, this same retracement happened in which we went from the swing low that was set up to the swing high. We drew that Fibonacci retracement level, which led us to see some support get established on top of our 382 right at $1 back then. We saw that we wicked down into it, but we were able to not get any major hard closes within it. We got a recovery very well, establishment of support, continuation upward. Well, we can see, again, if we do compare that to what we're seeing now, from our swing low to our swing high, we came back down, wicked down into / below this region, but we were able to not get any hard closes within it. We got a few closes above it, looking to establish support, continuation upwards, okay? Now, if we do look at our Bollinger Bands, we can see the similarities here. So in this event right here, we came down, extended outside of our Bollinger Band, but we recovered it. Once we established a support on top of our 0.382, we had one strong green candle on the 4-hour charts that pushed us back up through the 20 simple moving average on the 4-hour charts. Now we come back out here. Again, you guys can see we established some support on top of our 0.382, and one strong candle pushed us through the 20 simple moving average. Now the last comparison is going to be the fact that during all of this, when looking at the RSI, we can see that the RSI was in this major overbought territory. It came down, went into oversold territory, then worked its way back up and had a big move to work itself back up over some of these key levels of resistance. And if we do simply just go back out one more time here to take a look at what we're seeing, what we saw in the past, we can see that a similar thing happened, okay? Where the price was super extended, we came back down, went to oversold territory, and in one big move right here, pushed us back up to clear some of those key levels of resistance, okay? So now that we can see that this is a very similar setup, okay? What are we looking for to happen, and how will we know that this big move is going to continue upwards? So first and foremost, again, the same principle applies to this formation that we talked about in the last video, that if we were to lose $2.07, I do believe a continuous fall back down to $1.80 to $1.50 is highly likely, okay? So if we come back down to get closes below $2.07, completely disregard anything I talk about in this video, okay? Anything. This whole thing is now, it is not relevant due to the fact that the pattern is broken, okay? But what we're looking to see is going to be the same setup and the same move that we saw here. So what we saw here, of course, let's go ahead and let's get rid of some of this now that we've kind of just paid attention to it. So what we can see is if we get rid of this and get rid of that, we can see that on this big move, if we get our Fibonacci retracement tool and we go swing high down to swing low, What the price did during this big move was worked its way back up to the 786. It hit its head, came back down to establish some support. At that same time, giving its RSI some room to breathe. Right here, we can see it hit this overbought territory right on the nose, came back down, gave it some room to breathe before exploding back upwards. Okay, boom, that explosion through the 786 at $1.42, and right there it would have been my buying time. That is when I would have been confident to buy. It would have been even further confirmed with the surpassal of this previous all-time high. And so from there, that would be the buying opportunity. That is the confirmation, especially once we saw that support get established with these multiple candles here. Okay, so what we're looking to see happen from ADA right now is going to be the similar move. We're looking for that similar setup. Now, the way in which we can find that is all we're going to do is just go from our swing high down to our swing low. And what we're looking to see happen right now is the recovery, recapture, and surpassing of the $2. Let's zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see it. The $2.85 mark right here. Okay, we want to see the 786 get cleared. Now, one thing we can see is that our RSI is making a similar move right now. We're working ourselves very, very close to that overbought territory. So don't be surprised if this does continue upwards. If we hit our heads, boom, RSI is here, comes back down, establish support, continuation upward, which may look like something like that, okay? Because remember, we saw the same thing here, right? We came back up, we touched this zone, we came back down, establishment of support, continuation upwards. And so this is not a for sure, no wall, like, and this is 100% going to happen, but this is a high chance of happening right now if we see the price holding above $2.07. Now, not only will $2.07 be a key level of support in which we do want to make sure that we are able to hold, of course, as that is going to be an important Fibonacci retracement level, but we also want to see that we see an upward breakout of this squeeze that is happening between our 20 and our 50 EMA. I think if we were to break below our 50 EMA on the daily charts, that could be a sign that we may be losing some of these support levels. And at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if, as we did mention earlier, we do come back down to retest $2.07. Okay, so again, like I said, this isn't for sure going to happen, but I think there is that high chance, especially if we do clear this 20 EMA on the daily. That would be a great sign. That would be an absolutely fantastic bullish move that we may be finally seeing that upward momentum to get us up to 285 as we are looking to see. So now let's talk about what if we do, right? So say if we hit $2.85. For me personally, I think that's a great buying opportunity. I'd be looking to take on a short trade there, a short-term trade, not a short trade, of course. So let's kind of talk about where I would be expecting it to go and, just going forward, what my anticipations are. So personally, what I would be looking at is if, again, we're on the daily charts, what I would be looking to do is I would draw my Fibonacci retracement. I would be drawing it from our previous example, of course, on April 14th, 2021, down to our swing low. And I would be looking at where this thing extended to, okay? So we can always gauge some of these different extensions and where we can expect the price to go to, of course, based off of our Fibonacci retracement and extension levels. So what I would be looking to see is a similar move here, is which we come up, we hit our 1.272, probably going to have to look to find some support at some given point, of course, coming off of an extension level, but then a very clear and hard push to the 1.618, right up to $2 in this example. So what I would be looking to see happen is a very, very similar move in terms of where it goes. Now, the way in which we can find that, of course, is if we take our swing high down to our swing low. And what we're going to go ahead and do is let's kind of get this 100% on. There we go. So what we're going to be looking at is going to be seeing the price go where the previous price was, right? And actually, this is going to be a little bit higher. So let's adjust that a little bit. On the 4-hour charts, it was a little different, but on the dailies, we're looking at this price to 786 instead of 285. Let's call it $2.90. Let's go off the daily charts, right? So what we're looking to see happen, of course, is going to be that push through to 290. So at that point, if we are able to do so, of course, that's my buying opportunity. Now, you guys do know, I always believe in stop losses. I think they're absolutely important. Right here, I would be looking at a stop loss as, I would definitely give it some room to breathe within this realm. But if we were to come back down off of 290 and lose 270, a low 10% loss there, I would be pretty sure that we may be looking at some type of more extended reversal. So I would be probably setting a stop loss right around 263, just personally. But in terms of where I'd be expecting this thing to go, I would be looking for it to execute also very similarly on what we saw there. The first stop being at $3.50. Of course, being at $3.49 to $3.50, that's going to be a hard level of resistance just because it's such a key whole number. And of course, we're going to see so many, sell orders and things like that at $3.50 that I do believe it may push the price back down a bit. I think that on a short-term trade, that would definitely be where I would take some profits out at. If I wanted to let it ride a bit to see if we could push $3.91 at the 1.618, could definitely do that. But I would say that it would make a lot lot of sense to start to bring that stop loss up just as the price does climb. So if it does see some type of major crash off of this, that we can maximize on those profits as much as possible. Okay, so what I'll be looking to see again is that if the price is able to come up and clear $2.90, that we're able to push back up to $3.50. I do believe that that would happen, and I think there is a high chance of that happening again if we do clear our 20 EMA on this daily chart, in which we're seeing a bit of a squeeze here. Now remember, if we do lose this 50 EMA, I would start to pretty much ignore what we talked about in today's video, as that is starting to break some of the patterns that we saw, and then we're starting to have to find some new structures, new patterns, and look for new breakout targets, prices, and more from there. Okay, so watch this squeeze, watch this move, watch everything that's going on right now, and if we start to see the price working its way back up to 290, that's the only time that I would be willing to buy. I would not be willing to buy at any given point until we saw a clearing of $2.90 and a strong close above it. Okay, so with that being said, of course, I will update you guys. I will give you guys an update as soon as we do see some very key price movement. So if you do want to stay as up to date as you possibly can, make sure when you subscribe that you hit that notification bell right next to it so you can know as soon as I do post every single time. But with that being said, that is going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you all next time.